So everybody, you know that you want to actually get some good photos, I'll have sauce. And subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to hit the bell button, and everybody should know that our beautiful big good beetroots, cucumbers, spinach, lettuce, and beans. And also we'll make some fruit salad if you want to. So subscribe, guys. Bye.
Welcome back, Rainbow OMG Tribe. Today has been absolutely magical. And it's 3 o'clock, it's 10 past 3, it's Monday, it's Miso Monday. And we have been foraging nettle and some New Zealand spinach to throw through our miso to supercharge it. And I just drained off 30 liters of organic chicken stock that we made over the week. And I think, like today I just want to talk about being in sync and being in harmony. And nothing is random. Nothing is happening to you. It's happening for you. And lately, I've just kind of been a little bit recluse and a hermit, and that's cool because I'm just collecting the bits of myself and collecting my thoughts and getting clarity and perspective on things, and we need that time to ourselves to do that. But today I've had last Friday, I just had a business brainwave, and I was like, okay, let's work on this. And then today has just and there was some emotional charge in me. Like I was feeling really frustrated that our house was just stuff everywhere. The chi in our house was totally off, and there was just no flow, no productivity, and everything just kept compiling and compounding on itself, and I was just getting really frustrated. And I think that that's part of what I want to talk about. So when you're living in harmony, life will just keep handing you situations and circumstances that keep propelling you forward. Like today, it's 3 o'clock, and this is the first time I've sat down all day. And thank goodness I have the world's most peaceful baby ever. But like every moment of today has been full on in the most wonderful and beautiful ways. It started just doing some farm work this morning. And then we had a new customer pop in, and that conversation evolved into something beautiful, a beautiful kinship and friendship. And, when people seek you out and you find these connections of similarity, you're co-creating a new community. And a lot of us have been rejected from society, and we're creating our own new kind of interwoven community. And then I went and had a look at a cool room trailer, and I'm towing 2 kids around, and it's hot, and I'm getting calls, and I'm like, what is going on? Like, for nothing, forever and a day, like 6 months of just solitude at home, just had a baby, emotions are festering up, and like, something's got to shift. And just feeling like I'm in this vacant place of like, I know I'm in the throes of change and transition when there's just this like emptiness and frustration is building, and then there's that pressure release and all of the steam comes out, and something has to shift. And like when we're working magic, there has to be an emotional component involved, otherwise the manifestation of it won't come into fruition. And so I've just been feeling like I try not to be part of the problem, and I try to just always be looking for solutions and trying to be bringing tangible nuggets of wisdom and content to the surface. So we don't do business on a Sunday, but yesterday was Sunday, and it was so flat out. We took the table out of our house, we gave away some couches, literally, my house is just turned upside down right now, and I'm okay with that because I can see like, oh, there's more flow in the house, there's more chi flowing, there's more, I don't feel so overwhelmed. Stuffed all of a sudden doesn't feel like it's compiling and compounding on me. And so today I was just woke up and it was like, all right, the plan is we're just going to go do some farm chores, maintenance Monday, do some weeding. We all feel good when we do a whole, wheelbarrow full of weeds. And then it just kind of snowballed into like this person stopping by, and then somebody else, and then something else, and something else. And I'm just feeling so utterly supercharged. And even last night, I was watching videos on YouTube, and my heart, I feel like the tables have turned. And that is the greatest secret that the powers that shouldn't be don't want you to know, is that the majority has already won. Like, the amount of people I see homesteading, who are homeschooling their children, who are growing their own food, who are working their land, who are just being here from a place of like raw authenticity, and this is what our ancestors used to do, and living in harmony with nature. Like, my heart just explodes at all of the beauty and bounty, and it makes me not feel so alone. Like, when I'm out there hustling 2 kids on a hot day and a rake, and just got 600 seedlings to put in, there are times where I just feel utterly frustrated because people say like, oh, you're not involved enough in the community, and I'm just like, oh my god, do you know how much it takes to be a parent and running a business and homeschooling 2 children and running a household, and still keep yourself mentally in balance? It's not easy. But I think that's part of it, is like, as parents, we need to be showing our children how to be always just self-checking in with yourself. What am I feeling right now? Am I in balance? Am I okay? Do I need to just have a little time out for myself? I don't necessarily believe in putting my kids on timeout, but I'm also just like, mate, you just need to go to your room because I'm feeling really agitated and I just need 10 minutes to get lunch ready, okay? And you can hear your sister screaming. So have compassion. We're all on our journeys. And, but yeah, I just felt, my heart has felt so lifted out of kind of the quiet slump that it was in. And that was just feeling overwhelmed from the clutter in my life, and like, are we moving our business forward? How can we be reaching more people? How can we be, we all want to contribute something to being part of the solution. And I think this is the thing, like, when life gives you days like today where it's just like, you start out and then you meet somebody, and then that turns into X, Y, and Z, and that evolves into this. Life is happening for you, not to you. And when you keep getting met with like synchronicities and coincidences, and you're like, oh my god, I could have never imagined meeting this person or doing this thing, or I can't believe it's coming into fruition right now. That's life. As long as it's exciting you in all the right ways, that is life propelling and projecting you forward. If you're constantly being met with adversity, that's a good sign life is being like, hey, hold up a hot minute, take a step back, reassess, reevaluate, and kind of like collect the pieces that are working for you and scrap the pieces that aren't working for you. And I think that's where like a lot of depression and stuff comes from, is when we're trying so hard to make things work for us, and the universe just keeps handing us adversity like, no, stop, this isn't working for you, stop. And sometimes it comes in the form of like repentance and just admitting like, oh my god, I was so wrong about that whole situation. And that humbles you. Like, sometimes you have to admit you were wrong and be humbled by the universe. And sometimes that humbling process is not easy, to say the least. But when life keeps handing you things that are like, hey, I've got this for you. Hey, what about this idea? Hey, what about this person? What about this connection? And it's really exciting you. That is life propelling you forward, saying, yes, you're on point, you're on purpose, you're on track. Just keep going. Doesn't matter how hard it is. And when I see other mamas and homesteaders out there, like people, selling up all their stuff, moving countries, all for the sake of love, for the sake of wanting to be with their family every day, to want to be on their land every day, to want to be home and growing food and not slaving away at a job. It is so humbling to just know that you're never alone in this journey. Like, even if you're having a rough day, there's probably 6 million other people in the world having a way worse day than you. So always put things in like perspective and context. And, you know, I always think like this is my little hat trick is I always say, okay, universe, in like 3 weeks from now, what am I going to have learned from this? So what's the wisdom and the hindsight that I'm going to look back and be like, oh, I get it. So yeah, I'm just feeling intensely encouraged that, you know, change is already here. Change happened over the last 2.5 years. There was a lot of people falling away from our lives, a lot of friendships ending, a lot of death and rebirth over the last 2 years, and I feel like I'm finally at the point where I'm ready to emerge back into the world and just really encourage people to be always helping themselves, because, you know, you can't change the world if you can't change your own habits, and that just comes from like catching yourself when you're having a negative thought or perpetuating some lie to yourself, or, you know, just really catching yourself and taking the eagle's perch and looking down and saying like, okay, this is happening from a higher perspective. What am I supposed to be learning from this situation? You know, not getting stuck in the 3D motion of why is this happening to me? So like going from victim mode of why is this happening to me to victor mode, which is what's the wisdom I learned? What's the lesson? How am I gaining from this situation and not feeling like I'm losing out on a situation? And like I said before, that which is meant for you will not miss you, and that which misses you was not meant for you. And yeah, I'm just trying to take a little step back and, you know, like talking about spiritual signs, like I'm just like, okay, the spiritual sign will come when it needs to. I'm not looking for it. I'm not putting pressure on it, just whatever. And I came back here to sit with my bamboo and just have a little bit of peaceful time sitting on the earth, grounding out. And there was a beautiful kookaburra just like sitting here in my park. And the kookaburras to me are elders, you know, they are ancestors and elders, and they're wisdom keepers. And I always love hearing a kookaburra laugh, because it happens always when like you don't think anyone's looking and you do something, and then like a kookaburra will start laughing at you, and you're like, yep, there's the elders just laughing at me. Okay, just relax, enjoy, you know. But it was nice to come back here today, and yeah, this kookaburra just hung out on the branch for ages while I recorded this video, and I can see him still just in the next tree. And so I just wanted to reach out and say we've got some really big, exciting new projects coming up. Like William gave away earlier, we are thinking of getting a caravan and converting it into a veggie van so locals can have pickup. And also just because I realized like the other day, not everybody is on social media, not everybody gets on a computer every day. Me being the worst for that. I don't respond to emails. I get on like the computer maybe once every 2 weeks. And so I was thinking like, how can we make it easier and more accessible? And even for people that are just like caravanners passing through town. You know, there's a lot of people that come through this town on their way out to national parks, camping and stuff. And it was like, how do we reach people that aren't on our email list, that aren't on the internet, that don't use a computer, that are just passing through? And it was like, yeah, just be your creative self and make some signs. And I've always just had this little creative inkling to want to do some kind of caravan. So we're looking at purchasing a caravan and making a veggie van. And, you know, that's out of respect for like the elders in the community who don't use computers or Facebook or anything, but they just want to get out for a nice walk once a week and go pick up their veggies and have a soulful chat and a soulful interaction. And so, you know, that's something that I can do while Ev's out doing deliveries, is like, I'm at home with the kids usually on Fridays, well, most days, and just teaching our son, this is how business work and this is economics, and having a place where I can hang out with the kids but still interact with customers and growing and reaching that customer base. So we've got a couple options. We're gonna go, we will be led in the right direction by what unfolds in front of us. But yeah, so Rainbow OMG is now doing not only just a market garden and direct sales to customers, but I realized like at the end of each week, we've got like 10 extra bags of carrots, extra bok choy, extra bags of spinach, extra boxes of sugar snap peas. And we could, like, our produce lasts long enough that we could wait till next week to sell it, but we actually just really love bringing fresh produce to the table. Like, that's our game. And, I hate throwing stuff to the chickens. As much as, like our chickens are, like, gourmet chickens. They eat so many veggies, it's crazy, and it feels wasteful at times. And so we're trying to find a way to reach people who are just passing by, who don't use computers, reaching out to a market that we wouldn't otherwise be reaching if we just strictly stuck to online. And for me, I love nothing more than having a deep, soulful conversation with my customers and interactions. And I love when my conversations with customers go off on tangents and lead to these really beautiful, meaningful connections and friendships. And so that's the beauty of knowing your farmer, is that it's not just coming from a supermarket where it was grown in a factory and then put on a shelf, and there's just no soul in your food. When you actually know your farmer and you've had deep, in-depth spiritual conversations, the soul that's gone into growing that food. And that's something really important too, that for all the food that is being automated and grown with machines and seeders and this and that, the energy of the person who touches the seeds is actually imprinted in the seed. So there was many ancient cultures where they had practices where they would stick seeds under their tongue, and the saliva from a seed being under the tongue would program the seed saying, hey, this person's really low in potassium and selenium. And so those plants would go down into the soil and pull up more selenium and potassium, because that was the deficiency that was in the person planting the seed. So there is great wisdom in our connection with plants and with nature, and it's really important to know who's growing your food and how. And this is why, spiritual food is a really deep conversation I want to get into. But that's just the tip of the iceberg, is that the energy of the person growing your food or making your medicine is imprinted in the medicine itself and the food itself. And so if you're buying food from somebody, who is just very unconscious with their thoughts and words and action, like disassociated from their actions, which a lot of people are, then that food is going to be kind of just, it'll be food, but it won't satisfy and nourish you and elevate your consciousness and harmonize you with your environment and nature. And so, I will do a video on conscious food, and because I think that, doing biodynamics, doing soil amendments, doing preparations, designing your property with your holistic goal in mind, is really all part and parcel of growing spiritual food. And food has the ability to poison us, like we see that everywhere on the supermarket shelves with the additives and the sugar that's in it, or it has the ability to really heal our bodies and heal us from chronic disease. So it just makes my heart sing that there are so many people out there homesteading and homeschooling and growing their own food, and not only just growing their food, but growing their relationship with their children and their connection to earth and nature, and realizing that we are part of it and not separate from it. And yes, I just felt so encouraged today that life just kept handing me these beautiful coincidences and peoples and situations that just kept unraveling into this beautiful, energy of just I love where we're going, and I love what we're doing, and I couldn't imagine doing anything else with my time or my life. And this is just the ultimate joy of life, is my daily experience. And so I hope that we can all find ways to cultivate and practice and grow that in our own lives. And yeah, I'm just feeling like when life hands you resistance, it's asking you to take a step back and just have a look at the bigger picture and get a perspective and get real and get clear with yourself. And when life just keeps handing you, when the snowball effect happens where you're just rolling and rolling and it gets bigger and bigger and better, run with it, because that's life just saying check, 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 keep going, you're heading in the right direction. And so I'm wishing you all health, wealth, happiness, and abundance. And I'm going to go finish making my nettle and wargle greens nettle miso soup. And we had a great day on Maintenance Monday, and we look forward to sharing our exciting news about our veggie van with you guys in the future. All right, wishing you all health, wealth, happiness, and abundance. Keep being the change makers and keep giving solutions, keep speaking your truth, and keep living the most beautiful, unapologetic life ever. One love, tribe.